Hello and welcome to Lockdown Economy Nepal, a local edition of a social non-profit initiative to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic. In Nepal, it is being done in collaboration with NYEF Kathmandu Chapter, a membership-based non-profit organization dedicated to create outstanding entrepreneurs, and AlterContacts, a global think tank for sustainable development based in Amsterdam. My name is Susan Lal Manandar, host of the interview series, and I'd like to welcome everyone who joined us for this session. Today, my guest is Kashyap Shakya, who is the co-founder of Pycus Holdings. Hello, Kashyap Shah, how have you been?
Namaste. I've been good. First of all, a very happy new year to everyone. Susan, you, the whole NYEF Kathmandu chapter, and anyone who's watching and listening to us. I've been good actually, and I hope it's the same with you all as well.
A very happy new year to you as well, sir. And today we're going to talk about a sector that got a little bit pushed aside in the beginning of the year when countries started to go into lockdown and business started to get shut. Maybe because of the cost, maybe because they felt that it was not necessary, but it is marketing and branding. And we'll discuss about all that in the lockdown economy discussion. But before that, sir, could you please tell us about Pycus Holdings?
Okay, this company, it was started by me and my cousin Rahul, and it's been about 3 years that we started this company. After almost working in the marketing field in Nepal, in different sectors ranging from beverages to life insurance companies, almost 15 years, and we thought of like opening up a company where we our expertise. So it's been 3 years. 2017, we conceptualized and we opened this company very small, very humbly, and presently, we've been doing good. I must say, and it's a brand consultancy firm where we work with the clients in a slightly different manner than any other ad agency because we are involved a little bit strategically and at an advisory role with the clients. So it's a little bit more, deeper and a little bit more elaborate. So that's basically what Pycus does.
And what is the size of your team?
Presently, we are around 8 to 9 members at the moment. If you do not include the people who we outsource or freelancers, our core team is about 9 people right now.
And you've already given us a little hint about what you do. Could you elaborate what services you provide to your clients?
Okay, so like I said, primarily when we deal with the clients or when clients come to us, they actually look for suggestions and they look for an idea as to how to create a brand. Sometimes some clients come with a requirement to refurbish their brand, or sometimes some clients come and talk about changing their brand or rebranding. So basically it revolves around the brand part. But yes, when we talk about the brand part, it would be very shallow and it would be very incomplete if I just talk about the brand, because it's just a part of the overall marketing activities. So we tend to get involved with their overall marketing strategies, and sometimes it even leads to advisory role at the business strategy as well. So it has happened with quite a few clients. So the thing is, many people may see the executions that we do on ground, on digital media and on mainstream media, but behind that, there's a lot of homework and a lot of strategic input that we put in, that we solve across the table with the clients.
That's great. And now let's talk about the lockdown. When Nepal went into lockdown, of course, a lot of businesses started to close, and that's when people started to cut costs, and maybe the marketing got pushed aside. So, what kind of problems did it bring to the industry, and specifically to your organization and its operations?
Yeah. Initially, I must say we were really, really skeptic. We are a very young organization, young company, and it was a big challenge for us because most of our clients, and we practically deal with many small entrepreneurs in the market. So there were some of the entrepreneurs, some of the businesses were very new, which was opened up by the startups were opened up by the initiators in a very enthusiastic manner. But the pandemic came in such a way that they did not expect. So these businesses aren't the ones which have very deep pockets. Okay, so they actually had to shut down their business. For example, some of them were restaurants, very unique theme-based restaurants, but had to close the doors, because their employees were not there. People were not allowed to go to restaurants, and everything had to be shut down. So they did directly cut down on their marketing. The first thing that hit was, the marketing and their human resources. So if you look at it from that perspective, it was a big hit for them and directly to us as well, because many of the clients, I think 4 or 5 of the clients stopped their promotions immediately. So that was a very big impact. But in due course of time, things changed a little bit. Definitely, because I think the idea of digital marketing started making sense at that point of time, because again, mainstream media was not so well received by the people, even operationally. So in that sense, it picked up a little bit, definitely.
And what kind of problems did you face from an operational standpoint?
See, first of all, if you really look at it, the physical operational part was very difficult, because we were practicing working from home for the first time. Okay, so communication was a problem. We had to, let's say, we had to upgrade our internet in everyone's house, like not only mine or not only 1 or 2 persons, but all the employees had to upgrade their internet. They had to, we had to invest in separate screens so that we could, have proper meetings. We had to learn the mannerisms of online meetings, trying to communicate and communicating over online. Now it's become a kind of habit, but in the initial phases, it was very, very difficult, very, very difficult. It was difficult to get our ideas across. It still is, I would say it still is not as rich as face-to-face communication over a presentation, but yes, we've learned a lot during this time. But initially it was a very big challenge. The strict lockdown in which we were almost under a curfew, that was difficult. We actually tried to come to office once or twice a week and discuss things, but again, many a times we were stopped by the traffic and the police, and our vehicles got seized, and all those stuffs made it very, very difficult. And again, from a security point of view, from COVID point of view also, we did not want to take risk, because we have family, and so those were basic general problems that we had.
And when you faced these issues, what kind of strategies did you adopt to solve them?
Now that was a unavoidable situation. We weren't in a situation where we could actually close down the business and say that we'll open it after 5 months or 6 months. So we had to keep going, because some of our clients, the big ones, they did not, or they had to keep promoting. And some of the businesses, for example, if you talk about the life insurance company that we work with, for them it was very important to be promoting during such a time, because even from their CSR point of view, it made a lot of sense. So for them also, we had to keep moving. So during that time, the only thing that we could do was learn our way out through this particular difficult situation. Yes, like I said, we did have to invest in a little bit of infrastructure. For example, when the public vehicles were closed and there was this odd and even rule, 2 or 3 of our employees who did not have a two-wheeler before had to buy a two-wheeler. So that's again an investment. Again, computers and screens and mics, and maybe a television in the meeting room in the office, a webcam. All these things were from the investment part. So it was a very dilemmatic situation, because on one hand we were losing out a little bit on revenue, but on the other hand, again, we had to invest to keep our clients ongoing. So it was a kind of chicken or the egg kind of a question. So a little difficult. And again, other problems of keeping your office, which we have rented, whether we would get a kind of subsidy from the house owner, all those stuffs, mixed bag kind of.
Yeah, and as you stated, there were some clients who needed to market their products, and there were some who chose not to, and it was a very complex situation. So what kind of interactions did you have with them?
Initially, we tried to, and we even gave them, it's basically about providing value for our clients, because we know in the long run, like, this pandemic may stay in a country like Nepal for another 2 years. We expect that, and it may be possible also. But yes, vaccines have come in, so maybe that duration will be shortened by a little bit. But still, on the other hand, we wanted, there were a few brands which we at Pycus created with a lot of love and emotion, to be very frank. So it was not just from monetary business point of view, but it was also from work and the attachment point of view. So we try to give value to those clients by saying that, okay, we would, run their digital campaigns for a few months on a subsidized rate, or for some even for free for a few months. Those kind of values were given, and they did even accept, and they actually appreciated it a lot. So we didn't want to lose those clients. On the other hand, some of them who actually had to, again, the clients were also in a dilemmatic position, because on one hand they had to promote themselves, but on the other hand they were again losing out on revenues, because their branch offices were not opening, their employees were again working from home. And for a sector like life insurance or bank, you can't really work from home for a very long time, because you have to send your agents to people, meet them, sell insurance, get the premium amount, have it deposited in a bank. So all those physical aspects made it very important for them, and it was again very, very difficult situation. So for those kind of clients, yes, they needed to spend, they needed to promote, and for them we had to give them the value in terms of optimizing their cost as well as giving the maximum output. So we had to change. Even our digital marketing team had to learn a few extra, maybe some of them even took some online courses to see how we could optimize our digital presence to give the best value to our clients. So those were some of the, I would say, positive enough, because we had a very, very good learning, unfortunately though.
All right. And earlier on, you said the lockdown being very strict in Nepal, and I completely agree with you. It was like a curfew. There were time slots allotted for when you could get your groceries and everything. So since it was such a passive time, a lot of services were restricted. Did you try something new strategies that did not work for you?
Yes, one thing we like, again, it doesn't always work. So like I mentioned before also, one thing we tried to do was we tried to be in the office physically for a certain period of time, at least once or twice a week, which actually did not work during the very strict lockdown. Again, the vehicles got seized and employees got, held up at, in middle of the road for hours, and that actually, hit us back very badly. So that was one of the aspects. Another thing was our employees, again, they also got COVID infected. So for almost 2 to 3 weeks, thankfully, they did not have too much of a symptom. So they were working from home. Some other aspects were, which did not work, I would say. I think the physical part, the physically being present, even with the clients. Some of the clients actually did insist on, having physical meetings, irrespective of the fact that there was a lot of insecurity in COVID. So that, I think, in the long run did not make too much of sense, because on the client's part also, they started getting infected and our team started getting infected. It actually pushed our work even further. We were if we were working from home and if we were having digital meetings, I think that would have been more fruitful. So I think we realized that in the long run. So those were some of the things. I think operationally, those were some of the things. And one other aspect was, at that point of time, finding new clients was very difficult. Some of the things we did not do was, again, copy some of the competition in the market, because we see that some of the competition were getting very desperate, giving a huge price cut in the packages that they were selling, which actually seemed to be a little bit threatening in the beginning, but we did not, because we understood the difference in the value that the competitors were providing and the value that we were providing. So that is one thing I think I'm very happy that we did not do, because now that the market has opened up and things are almost like normal, we could maintain that. So that's one thing good that we did not do.
That actually leads to my next question. I wanted to talk about your competitors. What was the idea behind distinguishing the strategies like you just mentioned right now?
Yeah. So in Nepal, in even like specifically in Kathmandu, if you look at it and if you go through social media and the web, you will see a lot of companies trying to promote their digital marketing, especially during the lockdown period. Many companies have even we have even seen many companies entering into the digital marketing platform. Okay, so one thing that really happened drastically was the price cuts again, because yes, can understand that it was becoming very difficult for some companies to sustain, some small companies as well as some big companies. Finding new clients was a very big task, because again, those who were spending less. Those who were thinking about spending postponed their spending. Okay, those some of them, those who were spending, stopped spending for a certain period of time because their businesses had to be shut down. So those were some of the big challenges, and that was what was happening. But on the other hand, if you really look into the positive side, what I would say is the increase in the digital habit of the population, overall audience, was a very positive thing. So we could see people accepting the digital presence, the digital payments, digital information seeking, digital transactions, digital interactions. So that, on the other hand, I would say, is more positive. And I think that's here to stay for a certain longer period of time, even when things have become normal.
All right. And talking about the present situation, we've been pretty much open since September. How is your business performing now, and what is the outlook for your organization for the next 3 months?
We've been very positive immediately after the lockdown, after the markets opened up, because we could see and we could realize, some of the businesses, because right now what happened is there were some businesses who were trying to do something before the lockdown, but because of lockdown and pandemic, they had to postpone it. So it was not a complete shutdown, they had just postponed it. Okay, so now during the lockdown, depending upon the kind of value and depending upon the kind of work that we did during the lockdown period, during the pandemic period, for us personally, we've had a lot of I won't say very many, but we've had quite a few valuable clients who actually approached us after looking at our work. And we're pretty glad that they've approached us, and we most probably will be working with them, and we've been able to increase our number of clients. So that's very positive, actually. And I think this has happened with most of the may not be the brand consultants or brand consulting firms, but at least even if you look at the general digital marketing firms, I see that this has grown. Even the small businesses have realized that yes, digital presence makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I think positive thing about the lockdown is a lot of people have started accepting a digital medium, even if they were very accustomed to retail stores and physically being there and getting the products. Now they're much more open to getting things digitally. So this is my final question to you. What are the 3 things in your business that you need help with?
Can you repeat that once?
What are the 3 things in your business that you need help with?
Okay, presently, if you really look into it, again, it's not at all typically related with the COVID situation. But one thing is, the primary is, I think, this is something which I have been, talking about since a long time, not only in this business, but any other business. The government policies and the government intervention, let's not say the intervention, but the government policies regarding small businesses in Nepal is very, very poor. That has to change. Okay, for example, let's say for a digital marketer like us right now, the government comes and says that, okay, you are allowed to do a certain amount of transaction internationally and you can pay. So basically, if you look at the media, people are just talking about how you can pay your Netflix bills and you can order stuff from Amazon. But if you look at it from people like us, we are more concerned about how do we pay for international advertisements. For example, if I want to advertise through Facebook or Instagram or Google Ads, how do I pay for it? So that was a very, very big challenge. And primarily, a lot of those businesses were transacting in a very unofficial manner. Okay, so that is a good step, even though the amount is very, very small. Now, prior to that, if you really look into it, if you ask a question as to why was that not allowed, the basic idea that always came was a lot of money will be expatriated. That was the reason. That was which seemed to be very, very irrational, because if you look at it legally, if you look at it logically, what happens is, if someone is spending $500 or let's say 50,000 rupees in Nepal, then what you should understand is even a very small business gets an opportunity to promote itself by spending 50,000 and getting very good results over social media or digital media, which is not possible if you really go into the mainstream media. So before that, the situation was either you advertise in mainstream media by spending a huge amount of money, or you don't advertise at all. So now, now that we can see that social media has become very popular, now we can see even small businesses, even small local businesses are present, and they are promoting themselves. So what we are basically looking at is the addition or the value addition to the GDP of the nation. So the policymakers are not looking at it from a very far-sighted that kind of an angle. So it's a very myopic thought that, okay, if you open up foreign transactions, then the money will go out of the nation. No, we are spending. We are a nation which levied taxes on electric vehicles and did not promote electric vehicles. And actually, if you look at the amount of money that goes out due to petrol, that's like, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 times more than what we are talking about, the digital marketing segment sense. Okay, so that's the kind of policy that we lack. And again, the business environment, the working environment is very bad. For example, if you look at the political situation, we were very glad, irrespective of what kind of government it came into the power, we were very glad that it's going to be stable for 5 years. But we never expected that the government, which actually won 2/3 majority, would dissolve its own government. That's like, and I think the foreign investors would be very, very unhappy with that, which actually leads to a very bad precedent for foreign direct investment in the future. So the foreign investors will maybe never trust even a stable government in Nepal. So that's one of the major things. Secondly, if you really look into it, it's a very what do you say, ironic situation where you can see a lot of unemployment, but when you actually go and try to look for skilled manpower and skilled human resource, you don't get it. So skilled human resource is again another problem. So if you look into my business, we need strategists, we need graphic designers, we need copywriters, we need movie producers, we need animators, we need illustrators. There's a whole, we need content writers, we need technical guys, web developers, so app developers. Okay, so if you look into the kind of employment this sector can provide, it's huge, and very huge, and even more important because this can provide very good opportunities for the young crowd, very, very young crowd. Students studying during their college time can do part-time jobs. Like 3 or 4 of my employees in the company are those students, those guys who are actually working and studying together. Okay, so it's a very good opportunity, and by the time they graduate, they have developed some kind of skill. So that kind of skilled human resources is difficult to find. That is one thing. And the third part, I would say, it's more related to what do you say? In my sector, I think it's about the evolution of the industry overall at the moment. So, for example, if you talk about a new development like clean feed, we were very happy in the beginning that we would have local ads playing in the media, and the local media business will grow. Local advertisement businesses will grow. The quality of local advertisements and content will also grow. But till now, it seems clean feed was implemented, or maybe something like that was implemented without any background or without any infrastructural development. So what happens is, instead of having local ads in international channels, the international channels themselves haven't come. So if the international channels don't come, then there's no ad. There's no local ad, So those are the kind. I think the evolution of industry is also very important. So if you look at it from a brand consulting point of view, like I said, I think we must be among the few pioneer ones. So in 2020 or in 2017, the concept of brand consulting is just entered. You can say that. So industry, yes, we see this growing, definitely growing, but I think it's very, very slow. So we would want the clients to realize and understand the business environment, to understand the importance of such services for the growth of their business, etc. So I think these three would make the primary things, though there may be a lot of other aspects as well, small ones.
Those are some very important points you brought out, and I hope that this interview itself is useful to you to get the word out and start accomplishing those things. And Kashyap sir, thank you so much for coming on the interview series and sharing your insights.
Thank you so much, Sujan.
So, and before we sign off, do you have any message to people maybe in marketing or people who want to get into the sector?
Yeah, one thing, definitely, I would like to say one thing. Uh, one aspect which I personally, if you really ask me, kind of makes me angry is the brain drain. It's not only the brain drain; it's even the muscle drain. Okay, so if you look at that, apart from muscle and brains, if you look at it, what I say is, see, muscles. Okay, bronze, I can understand. You have got physical strength, but you that level of education or knowledge, and you would want to go out and earn some and come back and look into the security of the family. But someone with brains and having good education, good financial status, for them, what I would like to say is, if you cannot find opportunity during difficult time, it's very sad that you are actually not able to find an opportunity during the chaos. Because see, a chaotic situation is when many people are very, very skeptic about entering a particular industry. Okay, and that actually is an opportunity, but many people don't realize that. So what they do is, okay, the situation in Nepal is very chaotic, the political stability is very bad, there's always problem with our neighboring countries and this and that and load shedding and blockages and earthquake and pandemic. But if you really look into it, if you really want to be an entrepreneur, if you really want to be do something in the long run, then this is the time actually. And many businesses and many people have actually taken the opportunity during this time, because they understand that this is the time the general people will not enter. They are scared. Okay, so at this point of time, I would, for every person who wants to be an entrepreneur in the long run, be it marketing or be it anything, e-com or selling, or even if someone wants to open up a shop, I have seen people opening up specific shops during the pandemic, looking at the opportunity of this particular situation. I have seen people selling induction cookers during the blockade time, because they knew, induction cookers will sell because we did not have LPG and we did not have petrol. Okay, so it's basically about how you look at this situation and take an opportunity out of it. So when a young person comes and tells that, okay, I'm going to Australia or I'm going to Canada and I'm going to UK or I'm going to America because there's no opportunity in Nepal, I think they are not looking at it very carefully. So this, I think, should be I want it to be a message for the youngsters who think they just want to go out because life is easy out there, and okay, in general, if you want to have a very secured life, well and good. In today's context, we cannot stop someone because it's a global village. We can't say that just because you're a Nepalese citizen, you can't go and migrate outside and settle outside. No, we don't say that. But the excuse should not be that there is no opportunity. There is a lot of opportunity, and actually chaos and unmanaged situations actually give rise to a lot of opportunities. So that's
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful message, sir. And thank you to everyone who joined us for this session. If you have any questions for Kashyap, sir, you can find his contact in the description, or you can leave a comment in this video. I invite you to like this video, share it with your friends, and follow our page, the NYEF Kathmandu Chapter Facebook page. A recording of this video will be present in the AlterContacts YouTube channel, so please subscribe to our channel. There are playlists of videos where entrepreneurs and small business owners from different parts of the world have shared their insights. We'll have many more interviews like this in the upcoming weeks. Stay tuned, and goodbye.